Okay. So, here's a chapter, and I guess let's see what's happening. This chapter contains discussions of suicide. Well, of course it does. Ooh. Oh. There she go. Feet. The dissonant hum of struggling mechanics fills Teresa's ears as she sits cross-legged on the floor of the now-ruined engine room. She likes it here, the soft white noise ringing of the extensive ventilation network sounds. If she closes her nose just right, like the rustle of wind through the leaves of tree-hive universes away. The warm thrumming of machines at work is accompanied by blinking lights that taste like rainbow sprinkles as they flicker, but Teresa isn't distracted from the main object of her focus, the unconscious body of Rosalind, bathed in dim light, chest rising and falling in an artificially induced slumber. Wires and tubes run up from her plinth to the ceiling of the chamber, keeping her alive. Yes, but too much for that purpose. Something about the tangle of Sorry, I have peanut butter. I was eating a Reese's. Something about the tangle of intravenous or something tubing and fiber optic cable makes Teresa think of all of the old stories about the psionic. Her train of thought is interrupted by metallic footfalls and the screeching sound of a broken airlock door sliding open. There you are. I haven't seen much of you. I've been right here for hours, but your eyes have been closed the whole time. Rosebud turns her head to look back at the frail, failing vessel that once housed her consciousness. Didn't even dispatch a fake laugh for her behavioral display matrix in pity of this half-joke. Your attachment to my comatose body is unexpectedly charming, as well as slightly sinister. She isn't going to do anything. She isn't coming back from where she's gone. You never know. Yes, I suppose that's true. Anything can happen. You can't see the future, etc., etc., Except I can. I can see the trajectory the story needs to take, and thus I know the trajectory it will take. And resurrecting my meat puppet would not only be difficult to the point of being worthless, it would also be extremely lame. Not that it would be out of character for this story. We live and breathe on stupefyingly mind-numbing and mind-numblingly stupid. But then we begin to veer towards dissolution yet again. If what you're saying is true, if a story has to be compelling to be canon, do you really think Dirk is the type to tell a compelling story? His taste in anime alone is concerning. I did enjoy the one about the horses, though. I don't think that counts as anime. Oh, My Little Pony. But that's why we're here, isn't it? To steer the story the right way. I guess. But you're not as enthusiastic. Playing with the whole world like it's some kind of squeaky Lucis toy does sound like it has its moments. I mean, my friends wanted to rule your little world as petty tyrants after we won the game ourselves. I'm doing the BFDI voice for all of them. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm not used to talking so much, and especially in these dumb accents and voices. But do you think that it would have been for the best for you and all the other million weirdos on your planet? That didn't happen because it didn't happen. If I have to hear one more tottery from either of you, I'm going to move to the woods and plague your new society as a hermit bog monster forever. See, that's more of the spirit. Become as myth, Teresi Pyrope, the troll under the bridge you were already meant to be. The village chalk supplies will be ravaged. Town folks will be telling their children scary stories of the terrible dragon hiding in the woods. If they're not good, she might emerge from the swamp and moralize at them. Just because you've elected to abandon the concepts of good and bad entirely doesn't mean I don't still have moral reservations. But this isn't about that. I'm talking about the basic ability of intelligent beings in all real and hypothetical planes of existence to give a shit. I don't give a shit. And honestly, I have a hard time understanding why you do. Where did this come from? You didn't do much world building when you fucked off for eons and let chess people build your planet. That approach failed. Without an organized antagonistic force, the planet became fundamentally unsuited to relevance. Its dissolution was inevitable, and our fellow victors couldn't or wouldn't see. We only know of one way to perpetuate canon for sure, to play and defeat the game, and continue the life cycle of the Genesis frog we cling to parasitically. This obviously has destructive consequences when we spared the Earth by coming here and starting from a blank slate. Now it is protected in the steady hands of a duly elected ruler, sure to have a boring and uneventful perpetual term in office. Blah, 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 blah. So you feel bad about how much you guys were big team failures and want another flip of the coin? No, I don't feel bad. I don't need to bargain with the past or question it. Everything that happened brought us here. An imperfect mechanism, to be sure. Resting in points, barely functional in others, occasionally relying on the labor of strange clowns. Ugh. As the sheer number of doomed universes our actions in the game spun off should show, we barely understood the design of it at the time. Truly, we stumbled through the tape of the finish line ass first, cheating all the way. But there were no table of judges waiting to Sorry, the peanut butter keeps sticking to my tongue, and I'm spitting everywhere because I'm not used to talking, as I said before. But there was no table of judges waiting to adjudicate our performance by holding up little placards with numbers on them. We are the observers, and we are the judges. We won, and to the victor go the spoils. If you don't want a hand in making the rules of this new world, then don't storm off. You're trying to lead me to accept your moral framework. What if no one should control a universe? All we fought against was monsters who converted power into control, and not everything we lost fighting them was a mistake. There was a lot of sacrifice for the idea of good. What's the point in continuing the story if that was meaningless? If What English was just holding up the world, if it takes acting like him to keep it alive, wouldn't it be better to just let it die? Roosevelt looks over at the plinth where her body sits. Kept alive, sure, but atrophied and weak, dependent on the machine to continue projecting consciousness to the abiotic enclosure, keeping the realization of the ultimate self from tearing her apart. Wouldn't it be better to just let it die? Terezi isn't asking new questions. Rose had first threatened suicide when she was 8. She couldn't bear the thought of attending the funeral her mother was organizing for her beloved cat Jasper's. When she was 10, she put on her coat and stood in whipping winter winds on the balcony overlooking a frozen waterfall, imagining the plunge with a blank expression on her face, eyes stinging from the New York cold. Her mother had drunk herself to sleep with the vacuum on again. The mechanical wailing inside played a chord of a gale outside, inescapable. But her first and only real attempt was a success. All these thoughts crossed her mind in a motorcycle. Explaining some things to someone not aided by the exponential increase in processing power Rosebot was tedious. Terezi's hesitation wouldn't be swayed by explaining more of the universe. There's another source at work. Not to be indelicate, Terezi, but I have wondered something. Yeah, it would be completely unlike you to be indelicate. I'm being serious. You said it yourself, that you don't give a shit. This melancholy, this meaningless that you're feeling. I think there's another explanation for it, one having little to do with the structural soundness of our plan. I think there's a psychological explanation at work here. Of course you do. You think there's a psychological explanation for everything. It all has to do with mothers and repression. Your mother was an egg. I recognize there are limitations at play here to the human experience, but I don't think it requires a great deal of insight, even though I do. In fact, we have a great deal of insight to recognize that you are fucking depressed. Oh, thank you, Dr. Science. Let me take out my human checkbook to pay you these invaluable human insights. Discovering that there is a problem is the only way to solve it. The constant insistence that everything is as it ought to be isn't just counterproductive, it's pathetic. From one seer to another, we both know how bad you've gotten in the past. If not for the past, in some past. I have no desire to meet that Terezi, no matter how doubtlessly sticky and charming she may be. Not every bad feeling is a syndrome, and just because I do things differently than you doesn't mean my brain is broken. That's not what depression is. Oh my god, I don't care. Stop trying to get through to me, or whatever else you think is happening here. We aren't friends. Go ahead and do your arts and crafts project with people's lives. Shockingly, Terezi, I am not asking you for your permission, or your blessing. I need neither. I was offering a reprieve from the monotony of the last 3 years, and what promises to be a long stretch of time going forward. Your life is going to be short compared to mine and Dirk's, but that doesn't mean it has to be boring. The two of you really are made for each other. I am made for him. That's how I am made from him. That is how families work. Is that why you left Kanaya behind? Because you know so much about family? I would be careful if I were you. The weight of what I know, and you do not, is enough to overwhelm a moral frame. Ugh, shut up. Stop pulling this mystical bullshit every time. Don't you miss her? Don't you? Your constant deflection is as pointless as it is ineffective. My feelings are irrelevant. There is nothing to mourn if it all dissolves, not even the capacity for grief. If the cycle of canon must continue, then it must. Some don't understand that. Sorry, let me just check. Okay. You do. I did. Is this what canon means, though? Garish orange and purple gods acting out the same story again and again. Another journey, another planet, another game. I grew up thinking I had to throw away everyone and just go jet off into space. It wasn't good or evil. It was easy to justify as what must happen. It was essential. Oh, God. His voice kills me. But was it relevant and true? This isn't the same, and you know it. We see things, or see things, the way they are. We are obligated to act, to save the concept of meaning itself by continuing to spin the narrative loom into new tapestries. I used to enjoy talking to you, you know, when I thought this was what you wanted, that Kanaya just couldn't understand that we had to do this, but now I can't tell. Did you want all this, or did the prince? Abruptly, Trezzy is lifted from the ground with a glidingly smooth, effortless motion. Metal is so much stronger than flesh. She flashes a sharp-toothed grin as her feet dangle uselessly in front of the lithe metallic form of her counterpart Seer. Inspiring a reaction like this from Rose's robotic placidity has been like squeezing blood from the stone of a years-long journey, delicious candy-red blood. I have complete recall of every sensation my body experienced. I can stimulate, and have stimulated, cherished and tragic memories in their entirety. They flood my circuits with feeling, more real than flesh ever could be. A direct contract between mind and memory. Is this what you want to hear, Teresi? That I can replay the complete sensory experience of my first kiss 100 times in a single clock cycle? Do you want me to rend my garments and wail at the tragedy of it all? Play victim, damsel in distress, leak lubricant from the joints of my eyes to simulate the tears I can no longer shed. I know what I have lost. I have taken a full account of it. I cannot and will not forget it. But to cling to it as if it faded to nothing would be a meaningless capitulation to entropy. Someone must sit atop Olympus and propagate the fabric of reality upon which these memories sit. That is the task we have taken on. The game does not feel. The game does not mourn. The game must be played, and we must guide those who will play it better than ourselves were guided. Just as I have remembered the good, I can recall the terror that consumed me and overwhelmed my body. The visions of disillusion, their narrative unspooling, 1,000 voices shouting contradiction. What value is a marriage, temporary domestic bliss, if it is all loss, if all is lost? You understand this bargain. At least you should. It's one that was made to leave you alone. Is your resentment toward my choice about Kanaya, or about bonk? Rosebud's even metallic voice is interrupted by the bang of skull against metal, and Terezi's headbutt collapses the both of them to a crumpling heap of metal and flesh. That was a step too far. Tinges of that once simmered underneath the surface has found catalyst for a boil. Terezi and Rosebud's repartee of words is replaced by dissonant noises of clanging and smashing as they roll around on the floor of the crashed Theseus' central chambers, throwing punches and smashing into control panels in a crescendo of chaos. This is more than a sufficient distraction from the melancholy Trezzy was sinking into. Her senses are alight. The whir of servos and occutators are a dusting of snow on her hearing, undercutting the percussion of their rolling wrestling match. The orange cloth she's ripping and scuffing I'm bad at saying words. These are big words. Every breath she inhales with the sweetly acidic taste of grapefruit and tangerine. She imagines anger pouring from the glassy red eyes as they roll over one last time. Rosebud finally has Terezi pinned to the ground by the throat. A cool metallic knee is pressed hard between her legs, holding her down. A natural pause in the staccato squabble is found. Two pairs of red eyes are locked on each other. Terezi's breath rises and falls deeply. The robot's intricately crafted torso does not stimulate breath, but the soft sparse purr of cooling fans betrays attention. Trezzy spits out a few raspy words gleefully. I take it back. Turns out I still enjoy talking to you. A stimulated smirk is summoned into being on the robot's face. A voice file plays in high fidelity. Back to the usual stimulating dialogue, it seems. Rosebud leans close. Tracy can smell the licorice back lipstick, the same kind as always, applied to now the synthetic polymer lips, inches away from her own. Rosebud's metal fingers close just a little tight around her neck. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm sorry. Whoa, 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 whoa. I fiddle with some advanced speciation machinery for a few hours and then come back to this. This is the problem with lesser actors. Leave them alone for too long and they get all touchy and start talking about feelings. We were passing the Bechdel test and advancing none of the plot. There were hardly any panels. That's not my Homestuck. You people are here for logic, systems, weird plot shit, lore, not this. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a fourth wall break a little much? Did your disbelief, until now, so utterly delinquent and prone to vagrants, that it's been suspended indefinitely, finally collapse? Go ahead and close the fucking book then. Quit out of your browser, slam the laptop closed, and punt it into the ocean. That shark is probably hungry after all the jumping. You wouldn't, though. If you were going to quit, you would have quit before this. We're for the long haul, you and I. We'll all go down together. Welcome to Nam. Anyway, where was I? Dirk. All right, passing judgment on my robotic ecto-daughter smashing the damn shipping grid to pieces. Really, Rose? Really? Our task of phenomenal cosmic importance isn't going to wait for a dalliance. I've just mastered fine-tuning Paraceodactyl hooves with this machine, and I need my co-monarch back. Plus, what would dear sweet Kanaya think? Oh my god, shut up and give us some privacy, nerd. Fine, be that way. I'll just get a head start on my species then. It's only a fate of a new planet on which the weight of saving the universe lies. If avoiding the warranty on a complex piece of machinery is more important than you all that, go ahead. I've got better things to do. Woohoo! Weird face. Anyways, yes, of course, we will set this as my desktop background. Yes. Bill. Thank you. So let's talk about this. This beautiful cacophony of sadness. First of all, let's look at all these pictures. What do we got here? Let's look at some of these pictures. Oh yeah, they are indeed. Yep, there we go. He's getting some hooves ready. Whack. Yeah, Rose is very bored with Dirk making a model of his Colosseum. Oh my god, what a huge nerd. I love you, Dirk. Footsteps. So, that was really something. I don't even know. What is even happening? Maybe I'm like going crazy. Is that a different color? Oh, that might just be... Yeah, no, that's just my finger. I mean, that's just my screen. Anyways, I don't have much to say about this. I enjoy Terezi. Rose is okay. I like them talking to each other. It's nice. Fighting. Licorishing, I guess. He's got the hooves ready. I mean, so, you know, that's cool. Always enjoy art. Always enjoy Dirk being a huge nerd. Yeah. I think that was short. I don't think that took too much time. See you later, then. Should I talk about some more stuff? Yeah, no. I just really enjoyed doing this. See you later. Bye.